Yo, what's up, my people? Thank you for clicking on this video and being a very, very valuable viewer. Today, we're going to be going over a betting guide for UFC Vegas 92, the Barboza versus Murphy card. We'll be going over straight picks, betting strategies I have for live betting, possible bets I'm considering making. Of course, the betting process is an ongoing process throughout the week. I might get new bits of information. I might retape a few other fights. So nothing's been set in stone yet. But if you do get value from this video and you do enjoy it, please make sure to like, sub. If you're feeling extra generous, leave me a comment down below. And yeah, without further ado, let's get right into the presentation. So before we go into the bets, I'm just going to do a quick recap. Top ticket play on Black Bees cashed. Beautiful little bet. A little bit sweaty at times, but I also had a 0.5 unit bet on Boryshev. I got baiting into betting Boryshev, and I'm actually quite ashamed of myself for betting on a guy with no chin and a terrible ground game. The prices were improving. I thought, yeah, he should be the favorite, but yeah, terrible bet on my hand. I also dodged a bullet with Rebecca. I had parlayed up with Juicet, but because Juicet pulled out, I didn't want to be stuck with a 0.5 unit bet on a guy at odds of 1.26. So that ended up being a blessing. I had Woodson by decision. You know, controversial scorecards, but close fight. Thought the hometown cooking would play a factor. Also had overs on the Richie and Hardy fights, which cashed fairly comfortably. Also got McKinney round 1 sub. McKinney came over round 2. Rebavix round 2. Rebavix round 3, which unfortunately, you know, Rebavix I think wrecked a lot of people's props there and the market. I mean, the market got wrecked there, but only risk 0.1 units, you know, risk small amounts on your props. Also had Trey Waters by decision 6.0, aka plus 500. Beautiful little bet there. Also had Ruzaboy wins in round 2, and I also had Joaquin Buckley by decision. So we also had some live bets as well. First live bet we had was Trey Waters. You know, I thought he's up 2 rounds. I thought, yeah, he had the fight, the momentum swinging towards his favor. I know there's a little bit of controversy with the scorecards, and I'm probably upset a bit some people here, but I did think Trey Waters won that fight. Also had a 0.5 unit bet on Waldo Cortez Acosta, you know, fading the Taekwondo expert. The amount of views I got online for this, that felt satisfying. We also had a live bet on CDF midpoint of round 2. Looked like momentum swinging in towards his favor. And we also had a 0.5 unit live bet on Joaquin Buckley after round 1 at round odds of 1.80. Before we get into the, also have to show off my slips, you know, as a narcissist, show you guys, hey, I'm betting these fights for real money. Also want to go over bankroll management. I'm not going to read this out, but feel free to pause it. Very, very valuable information. Also recommend staking strategies here. Guys, bankroll management, risk management is the number 1 priority in sports betting. You know, if you don't have a bankroll, you're never going to be able to make bets, make winning selections. I recommend betting between 0.25 and 1.25 units max for your bets. Also want to emphasize the fact that this is a long-term game. We're trying to grind profits out slowly, treat the sports betting and specifically the UFC betting markets like the stock market. We're trying to day trade here, trying to slowly build up a base of profits over time, which then compounds into larger amounts. Unfortunately, guys, like, you're not going to get private jet money next week from betting. And if you do, you're probably risking way, way too much. So yeah, risk management is always number 1 priority, guys. So anyways, my first bet here is I have 1 unit on Angela Hill. I just think this is a good matchup for her. I do have some concerns with the age. Maybe Angela Hill comes in looking completely washed, but she put up a very, very good performance against a young up-and-comer last fight. I just think Pinheiro has about 1 round in her to find a kill shot on Angela Hill. Otherwise, she's going to gas out, and Angela Hill's very, very tough. And I think she's going to keep coming forwards, and I think she's going to be able to get us a decision win. And yeah, so I do like Angela Hill in that spot. Now, these are some possible parlay pieces I'm considering. Haven't made anything into a parlay yet. I want to wait a little bit more, let my thoughts marinate a bit more, because I don't want to put myself into a position where we parlay some of these fighters. You know, you think about the fights a bit more in detail throughout the week, and then by the end of it, you're like, oh, I kind of regret putting that into a parlay, and it's very, very much difficult to cash out of it. So Umar's side, I think this guy's pretty good. Tricole's coming off a big layoff. I think Umar's side is the much more effective wrestler and grappling style. Melissa Gatto, I believe this could be a levels fight. I think the fight could play out quite competitive, but I think Melissa Gatto is the much more skilled opponent in this matchup. I think Matt Gatto's a mid-level UFC fighter, while I consider Vidal a lower tier UFC fighter. Adrian Yanez, I think there's a good step down in competition for Adrian Yanez. Players striking a lot more, and I think the UFC is setting up Yanez for a favorable matchup. Final parlay piece I'm maybe considering is Emily Ducote. I think her pace, her pressure, her volume, her technique is going to come through, and she's going to be able to grind out a decision. Now, next slide here, we've got some live betting strategies. So first live betting strategy I'm considering is Garimbo. Now, Ramiz might come out very strong in round one. Look to take down Garimbo, possibly get a sub. But I think if Garimbo is able to survive that initial storm with his physicality and strength, then the fight goes into round two, round three. Even though I don't entirely trust Garimbo's cardio, I trust his cardio more than Ramiz's. And I also do believe if a fight is very competitive on the scorecards, with the back end of the rock, obviously UFC wants to give this guy a push. I think the judge is going to favor him. And another live betting strategy for that fight is if maybe Garimbo's having a lot of success in round one, you might want to jump in early on that one. But Garimbo's cardio is a bit unknown, and I do think he's making improvements to his game. And Ramiz is coming off a 2-year layoff, so yeah, that's a live betting strategy I have in mind. Next live betting strategy here is Angela Hill. Pinero is a girl that starts out very strong. She throws powerful hooks. She could have a lot of success within the first couple of minutes, but as the fight progresses, I just trust Angela Hill's cardio, pace, pressure, volume, and I think she's going to be able to grind out the win. So look to live bet Angela Hill after a round. Or if there's 3 minutes in and Pinero is not really having a lot of success, then you want to get in early on Angela Hill, because I do believe that momentum will swing towards her favor. Live betting strategy number 3, we got Haley Alatang. So Clayton Rodriguez, he's probably the more technically skilled fighter, more tools on her feet, but he has a huge flaw with the cardio, in my opinion. And he does visibly tire after a couple minutes. And if Haley Alatang comes in with a smart game plan, is able to push the pace on Clayton, make it an uncomfortable fight, then I do believe he has a good chance of winning the fight. So after round one, if Clayton looking a lot more fatigued, then you might want to jump in on Haley Alatang, or a situation where Haley Alatang starts very strong, then you might want to get in on Haley Alatang as a live bet. Live betting strategy number 4 that I have is Edson Barboza. Now, this is a pretty tricky fight to predict, in my opinion, guys. But if Barboza is kind of able to outpoint, outjab, outkick Murphy and just keep out in range, then you might want to get in a live bet on him. Or if Murphy starts out very strong, it looks like Barboza's age and wear and tear is catching up to him, and he doesn't look like the same fighter, then you might want to get in a live bet on Murphy. But I do think that's a pretty tricky fight to predict, guys, in my opinion. Live betting strategy number 4 I have is that Adrian Yanez. So we could see a situation where Vinicius Salvador starts out very strong, has a good, first round. And I think Yanez is a guy who gets stronger as the fight progresses. He's able to make his reads more, and he's able to read the style of his opponent. And also Vinicius Salvador was a guy's cardio that I don't really entirely trust. So yeah, that's live betting strategy number 4. Bets I'm considering, I'm seeing a lot of money coming on Ramiz here. I'll personally lean towards the Garimbo side. I think he's going to be able to negate the takedown attempts and the grappling attempts from Ramiz, and I do believe he's the better striker, and he's been more active, and I do believe the UFC wants to give this guy a push. They're giving him favourable matchups. But it's a bet I'm considering at the moment. The line keeps coming in, and I'm seeing a lot of strong opinions and some sharp people on the Ramiz side here, so I might have to retape it, take another look, and see if I'm reading the fight wrong, and I'm going to speak to a couple of people and see what type of read they have on the matchup. So another bet I'm considering is the over 2.5 rounds on Carnelossi versus Pierre Rodriguez. I do like betting the winners overs. They tend to go to an over quite frequently. I think if a finish does occur in this matchup, it's going to come from the blitzing attacks from Carnelossi. So you could possibly look at towards a hedge there with maybe Carnelossi via KO. But I think this fight is more likely going to go to a decision. And I think the more likely outcome is that Pierre Rodriguez is going to be able to just kind of outpoint Carnelossi, grind out decision, and win on the scorecards. And I also think Pierre Rodriguez is pretty tough and it's going to be quite hard to finish. So I think this fight has a good chance of going to the scorecards. But at odds of 1.40, I have to think about it because the break even is about 70%. So that's the end of the presentation. Thank you very much for clicking on this video. If you did get value from it and you did enjoy it, please make sure to like, sub, feeling extra generous, leave me a comment. And thank you very much for tuning in. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Take care and good luck with your bets this weekend, guys.